Hey, before we start the video, I just wanted to say we cover many agent-related topics in this video, and if you're looking for specifically how the best players in the game play all of these agents, we have plenty of Smurf commentaries on our website where Radiant level players teach you exactly how to carry with any role. So if you're looking for the fastest way to improve at the game, be sure to check out SkillCapped.com, link in the description below. Let's get into the video though. So the question many players, maybe new to the game or not, might find themselves asking is, what is the best role for me to play in Valorant? And it's a very valid question. Some people might be better suited for Duelist, some people might prefer to play more of a support role. Today what we're going to do is look through some viewer submitted VoD reviews and talk specifically about their playstyle and some things we noticed that maybe don't favor the role that they're playing, or maybe some things that do favor the role that they're playing. Something to keep in mind with this though is that despite there being designated roles for agents in the game, no roles in the game actually have just one job. All agents can be played as an entry, and all agents can be played as a support role. It just depends on the player's playstyle and the position that they are in the current moment. Maybe you're playing a duelist, but you're not in the position to play an entry role currently in the round. This just means that somebody else has to entry, and there's nothing wrong with that. All agents have guns, and they can all go pew pew. However, there are some things that we can look for that maybe signify somebody might perform a little bit better on another agent. For example, take a look at this game submitted in our Discord from FPW King. I'm going to call him King for short, but it's rather ironic that him and I ended up having the same name. I'm not joking, by the way. His name is literally King. Starting out with the pistol round, he's going to be playing Reyna, and there are a few things worth commenting on here as the round plays out. The first is that Reyna is an agent that actually almost serves better as a second man at times, especially on pistol round. Reyna is easily one of the strongest agents in the game on pistol round, and if you're able to get that heal off, especially when you have a ghost, she can be a super scary force to go up against. I actually don't have a problem with how King enters Garage here. He uses his blind for Omen and then follows him in as the second man, just as we said. That's great. But then you'll notice how he ends up backing up into the corner underneath Garage rather than following his team onto site, and again, let's talk about this. I actually don't particularly hate this on pistol round. Someone should probably stay back and watch the drop, and since he's playing Reyna, if he can get a cheeky heal off on the pistol round, this can be really good. You will notice his team ends up getting a little bit rolled on site, and if he was with them, he definitely would have had a little bit more of a fighting chance, but I'm not too critical of him lurking on pistol round looking for that heal. However, if he makes a habit of this on other rounds, that's when it starts to raise some questions. So let's take a look at the next round. Notice how in this round he starts out getting ready to peek middle and gets an early kill onto the enemy jet pushing through window. This is an awesome way to start the round, but immediately he turns back towards A where his team is currently duking it out with this player in short. And notice how he starts taking this duel as well with the player in short, sort of just holding down the same angle. At this point in the round, nothing is really getting accomplished. Everyone is sort of just sitting around shooting at this player in short, and because of that, even though they got the pick in middle, they have very little map control at all. They don't have short, they don't really have long, and they don't have mid or C. They are all bundled up in A lobby. Instead, to avoid this, rather than just coming around to hold this player in short, what King could have done is after this kill in middle, why not flash out and try to both scout for info with the flash, but also attempt to grab his team more space off of this kill. His Omen is clearly willing to push up mid with him. He's standing there pretty much this whole time, and when he peeked out mid, he actually didn't see anything in middle. Alternatively, if he really wanted to push A, what he could have done is followed his Sova's drone out long and tried to grab that space for his team. But instead, he sort of just held this guy in short and did nothing for a large portion of this round here. Once again, he had another opportunity to push up with the Skywolf, but it seems like he was kind of scared to follow it. If you follow behind things such as Sova's drone or Skywolf, it's very hard for the enemies to push you, given how risky it is for enemies to peek into these things. Notice how at this point of the round, Skye has used her Wolf all the way through short, and still her team has no short control. What I'm getting at here is it doesn't seem like this player really has the confidence to be the one to take space for his team. He might actually find a lot more value out of playing an agent like Skye or Omen. Going off of that, the funny thing I would like to showcase is how aware he seems to be of when his teammates need help. Notice how rather than using his blinds to take space, he's going to use his blind here to help the Sova get out of a sticky situation. He's clearly aware of how he can help his teammates with his utility, but it seems like he generally prefers to play more of a passive role rather than more of an upfront role. Oh, also, if you want to laugh a little bit, look at how he looks away from all of his Skies flashes. It's as if he's traumatized from past Skies on his team. We've all definitely have been there, but you really have to have the confidence in your Skye that she's not going to pop these birds in your face. But immediately after this flash, notice how once again, rather than going towards sight, he starts to go through garage window. And when I watch this, I can't help but feel like this player might excel a little bit more on an agent that is a bit more supportive, like Cypher, Skye, or Omen, because none of the things he's done so far really stick out to me as things that really highlight what Reyna is good at. But they do stick out to me as things that Omen might be good at: holding angles for teammates, using utility to help teammates get out of bad situations, lurking a bit more. Take a look at this last round, how he spends literally the entire round watching flanks for his team. For the first half, he finds himself watching the garage push in middle, and then he finds himself getting a kill on the A flank immediately after this. And this is a job that somebody needs to do on the team, absolutely. They don't have a Sentinel, so somebody needs to watch the flank and make sure that nobody pushes up too easily. However, the same question is posed: couldn't he do this better on any other agent? I'd say he probably could. But then again, this is just one game we viewed, and it's entirely possible that he doesn't normally play like this. He was just picking up the role that his team needed. However, it very much feels to me like this is a job that he's more comfortable doing, and maybe it's worth his time to consider picking up some other roles if he doesn't already play them. But let's talk about other ways to identify that you maybe aren't playing the best role for yourself. Because obviously lurking on a Duelist is a pretty easy sign, but what are some signs maybe for other agents? Well, to do that, we're going to take a look at a game submitted by Jeff the Taco from the Discord. He's going to be playing Skye in this game, and again, I'm not actually sure if these are all these players' main roles, but just making the assumption that they submitted these replays for this agent, they probably are looking for any advice that we could offer. One of the main things that stick out to me right away from watching Jeff is how he doesn't really seem like he always wants to use his utility on Skye. Something to keep in mind when selecting any role is that the only reason that agent fits into a specific role in the game is because of their utility. If all of the agents have the same job and utility, the game would just be Counter-Strike. Notice how when Jeff approaches the smoke here though, he sort of just sits in the smoke waiting to exit, and he even has to be reminded by his teammate that he could flash out of the smoke if he wants to. Obviously this is a small critique, but this is also coupled with the fact that out of the entire offense, Jeff is only going to use his Wolf 5 times. That means that out of 12 rounds, he only ever used one of his 3 main abilities 5 of them, which is less than half. Don't get me wrong, there are definitely going to be rounds where you can't use all of your utility. Skye's heal is one of those abilities where sometimes it's awesome and sometimes it's pretty useless. But Skye's Wolf is a super strong space-taking ability that you can literally use every single round to help your team grab territory. And it just seemed like this was one of the things that Jeff didn't take advantage of. He was very fond of using his flash to help himself take space, but it seemed like in terms of gathering info for his team, which is something that initiators are very good at, Jeff preferred to play a bit more aggressively to gather info rather than playing a bit more slow while using his Wolf. What I gather from this is that Jeff isn't really much of a fan of this playing back sort of playstyle, and he definitely is a bit more eager to be somebody who is more upfront and aggressive, which is okay. There are agents that are literally built for this sort of thing. For example, an agent like Phoenix is incredibly strong for doing these sorts of pop flashes out of smokes and using his body to gather info. That's literally what his ultimate is for. Same thing with Yoru. These are safe and more upfront ways of gathering info, and if you don't want to sit back and use a drone or a wolf for info, but you still want to make those aggressive pop flash plays, these are definitely great alternatives. And I say that knowing that his team already has 2 duelists. Even if he was picking Skye to fill for the situation, if he's not going to use Skye for her intended purpose, I'd say you might as well just play Phoenix. Moving over to another player who's submitted by the name of ZoloQ, notice how he's going to be playing Astra in this game, and he's not really hesitant to use her utility. One of the great perks of playing an agent like Astra, or really pretty much any controller, is that you can oftentimes assist your teammates from across the map, and this is not lost on Zolo. He always uses his smokes before entering a site and is constantly throughout the game using his utility to help his teammates. Something I like about this round specifically is that Zolo is not afraid to engage after his smokes are down, knowing that he has no utility left for the rest of the round, so at this point he's basically just a body, so he might as well be the first one to go in. It feels like controller is a pretty good fit for Zolo, and having somebody like him on your team, you can be confident that you're always going to have smokes when you go in. One thing I will comment on though is that the smokes that he's placing tend to be fairly bad smokes, and the reason for that is because they tend to bleed out of the doorways where he's smoking quite a bit. But this is such an easy fix that it's actually not too problematic for him playing controller, because to fix this, all he needs to do is make sure to place his smokes just a little bit further back. Compare this to him having to remember to use his smokes in the first place, and I would much rather have somebody having a problem smoking incorrectly than them having the problem of not smoking ever. So yeah, if you're playing a smoke agent in the future, just make sure that you place your smokes so they're flushed with the doorway from where you're watching, and you will be golden. Now guys, lastly, let me finish off by telling you just a bit more about our service. So we offer a 5-division rank up guarantee, which we think is pretty nuts. It's like your local gym promising you'll get ripped. Your local gym would go bust if they offered you that, right? Not us. That's how confident we are that our service works. Between in-depth courses on how to play any agent to commentaries where Radiant level players teach you how to carry in any rank, we've got it all. So what are you waiting for? Come join over 500,000 satisfied members and get the rank that you've always wanted today at skillcapped.com. Thanks for watching, everyone, and we'll catch you in the next one.